Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Anjani and today we're going to be doing a really interesting video.
So you guys might not know this because this is Anjani's first video, but Anjani and I were both Bank of America Student Leaders of 2024, which is a program about leadership and civic engagement, and it's generally regarded as pretty competitive, so we wanted to just share any insights that we had about how we think we got in and essay tips that we have.
Yeah, I think we learned a lot throughout this program and we just wanted to inspire other people to apply as well. Just because when we were applying, we were always looking for these kinds of videos.
Yeah, so today we're going to be talking about a little bit about ourselves, tips we have on the essays, and also our experience in general with the program, especially the Leadership Summit, so that you guys can kind of get a sense about what this program actually entails, and that hopefully that'll enhance your essays. And also, just as a preface, we are filming this in the 2024 to 2025 application season, so the essays might have changed at the time that you're watching it, but hopefully the tips stay the same.
Yeah. Okay, just for some demographics information, we're from the Silicon Valley market. When we applied, we were both juniors.
There were in total 5 people in our market selected out of around 250 plus applicants, just to get a sense of what that was like.
If you didn't know, the Bank of America Student Leaders Program is basically like an 8-week internship with a local nonprofit. And then you also, at the end of the program, you get to go on a week-long DC trip, all expenses paid. It was such a great experience, and we're going to be talking about it more later on in the video.
So just to start off, we wanted to cover some basic eligibility requirements. Particularly, you have to apply as a junior or a senior in high school, and you cannot be a student or something of a Bank of America worker. And then one we wanted to address is it says you have to be a student in good standing at your school. No, we don't really remember if we had to submit transcripts or anything, but we probably didn't have to. But in general, you do have to submit a recommendation letter and all, and hopefully your counselor or writer advocates for your academic standing. And I think that just means getting the best grades that you could, challenging yourself with rigor, being on maybe some honor roll or something like that.
Yeah. I think that part wasn't the most important. I think they were really focusing on our extracurriculars and how community minded we were.
So just for reference, before we actually get into the activities, there's no really set list that you put in, but rather a series of essays that talk about community contributions, school contributions, any jobs that you've held. So throughout those essays, we kind of talked about our roles, and they gave us space to expand on a couple of them as well.
Yeah, and since we're kind of talking about that, I really emphasized a different part of my involvement in each different essay. I tried talking about different aspects of my leadership.
Yeah, so why don't we talk about that?
Yeah, so, okay, I think we should do this by kind of talking about our top 3 extracurriculars. So I'll go with my top 1, and then Timmy will say his top 1, and we'll go kind of like that. So my first my big extracurricular is I was a co-founder of the Code Red nonprofit, which I officially started around freshman year of high school, but my passion and service for it really began when I was 12 years old. But basically what Code Red is, it's a 501c3 registered nonprofit, and we support those facing homelessness and period poverty through creating and providing kits for essentials in their daily lives.
My top activity was also really similar. It's kind of an advocacy organization that promotes healing through art, about survivors or people who have endured trauma posting art that has helped them express their pain. And it was a social media platform, also kind of community service based. Yeah, and the message was also spread through things that I did speech and debate and stuff like that. So overall, it was just that kind of advocacy.
Yeah, speaking of speech and debate, that was my second activity. But you guys don't have to start these activities super early on. I know for the first one, I had been doing it for a long time, but speech and debate I only started when I was a sophomore in 10th grade. And that means by the time I was doing this, I was only doing speech and debate for 1.5 years. But I still put it as my second activity because it took a lot of my time and I was really dedicated to it.
My second activity was also really similar because it was also speech and debate. That's something Anjani and I have in common. Personally, I've been doing speech and debate for a little bit longer, and I found it as a great outlet for advocacy, but I really wanted to focus more on my leadership aspect of the speech team. I was co-president in junior year, so I talked about that and all I've tried to do to contribute to growing the club, boosting team morale, and things like that.
Okay, so my third activity is volunteering at Sacred Heart Community Services, and actually now I'm on their like youth service committee. So before I was just a volunteer for like 3 years, and then now it's like a more in-depth like leadership experience working with like the behind the scenes of the nonprofit itself.
So my third activity, I feel like I'm gonna say like my third and fourth because it was kind of spread out differently. One I put for a school commitment was yearbook because I was the editor-in-chief that year. And again, just like speech and debate, I tried to talk about my contributions to the program and the journalism program. And then I also had some less significant job employment things that I shared because I just wanted to show that I had experience working like in a job.
Mm-hmm.
So I talked about how I worked for a couple social media companies and was also a member of a youth coalition to help spread advocacy for better use of screen time for teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And those were both paid. So I just wanted to show that like I had experience in a paid environment.
Yeah, that's really good. I kind of showed that like I had work experience too, but in a more like humble setting. You don't need to have like a formal like business leadership or like some really hardcore like experience. Like I just put that I was like a server at a local restaurant, and it gave me like experience with talking to different kinds of people and just like having like a boss and like coworker relationship. And I think like that real world experience matters a lot to them.
Yeah, I feel like for these first 5 essays about your activities, you want to kind of think about what you want to share. You definitely want to talk about how you've been a leader and influenced others, how you've contributed to your community, and maybe for this last one, like how you've been able to work in a team, work like under a job or under different conditions, because that's kind of what we did when we worked at our nonprofit over the summer.
Yeah, you got to show that you're like, when you're put into that environment, you're ready to like get started. So for reference, we're not going to be talking about any like all of the essays. We're just going to be talking about like the 2 or 3 ones that we wrote that really like I think we think made our applications what they were and like made them really important to us.
Yeah, to kind of add on to that, someone who actually was like part of the admissions panel told us that something that made us applicants stand out was that there was like, it felt very genuine and authentic, and in fact, some of them even felt like they could have been AI generated, whereas our like personal authentic voice kind of stood out. So just be true to yourself. And I feel like if a reader can feel like the passion coming out of the screen, then you know that you've done your job well. And going back to like that person who read our application, she also told us that something that she looked for was that we actually needed the program and weren't just going to like use it as something to put on our resume, but rather like really take advantage of it, use it to like kickstart any initiatives that we already had. And so I really wanted to emphasize in my essay that I wanted to use Bank of America as an opportunity for me to grow initiatives that I had already started. I didn't want to sound like I had already like gone there and like won $1 million and had like a fully operating business, but rather like I had a passion, a drive to like advocate, and I just needed like a means to help me get there. And like I tried to paint Bank of America as like the holy like light at the end of the tunnel that would get me there, which honestly it was. So I feel like it's important to like kind of gas yourself up and like show that you've done all these cool things, but also don't feel the need to overdo it. Like show that this program is like actually going to help you out, because at the end of the day, they want to say that they've fostered student leaders who are now out there making the world a better place and making a difference in their community. But they don't want to just say that they were like something that this already successful person put on their resume. Like they want to foster leaders that like are changed because of their program.
Yeah, so adding on to what Timmy said, rereading my essay, I was shocked at how like similar ours was. We both really approached it from a sense of how the program would like come back to us, as Timmy already said. I'll just like say a line from mine because I think it really just cements what I'm trying to say. I inspire my community by public speaking and creating initiatives to educate my peers about people who are silenced in hopes of being their voice. So that's what I'm already doing with speech and debate. And then I follow that up with saying, at the summit, I would learn from people all over the nation, enabling me to stand up for more causes and people that I believe in. So that shows what I'm doing now and how the summit and how the Bank of America program would help me. And I did that same pattern for literally the whole essay pretty much.
Yeah, I feel like I did the same kind of concept, but I kind of talked about everything that I thought made me compelling in the first half of my essay. And then I kind of transferred into like why I thought that this program would benefit me. So it's kind of like why, yeah, it's like why do I think I'm compelling and why is the program compelling to me?
Okay, I want to talk about the question that says, what challenges do you see in your community and how do you see yourself addressing those challenges now and in the future? So I went really personal in this one, and I talked about like my struggles with like body image, and the problem I chose was mental health of teens, and specifically like negative body image, like eating disorders. One important thing to keep in mind is that to not only make it about yourself, like really just show how it impacts those around you. So I think like thinking really like outside of the box, like, and also at the same time, how can this like impact you on your everyday life, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like I did something similar, but I used that essay as an opportunity to expand on like my first activity. That was like all the advocacy. So I kind of, my answer to that prompt was like people feeling like they should stay silent about trauma and like not speak up. And then I was like, okay, with my initiative, inspiring people to like create art to express their traumas, that's like battling that and helping my community. And then I also expanded on that activity earlier in the essays, but for that one I wanted to talk about more like my managerial tasks.
And like how it impacted you personally, would you say?
Yeah, and my community.
Okay, yeah, got it.
Period. Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about is the last essay, the personal statement, which says, please share a personal statement based on what you feel is the most important issue facing young people today. So this one I low-key struggled on for a bit because I thought that this prompt and the one that we just talked about were really similar, but I tried to take advantage of the fact that like there was a lot of space and it was kind of open-ended being a personal statement, and I just wanted to encapsulate like everything that I'm passionate about. So I talked about like breaking silence, as I already said, but like speaking up with speech and debate, learning to like reclaim your identity after feeling silence. So I really just took this essay as like a space to kind of show the readers who I am like as a person. Since this is the last essay they're reading, it's like they've seen all these different things about me, like my activities, what I'm passionate about, skills I've learned, and then I just like wanted to put it all and be like, okay, who is Timothy? And I tried to tie it around this idea of like finding your voice, because I feel like that's really true to me and that can be seen in a lot of parts of my application, but this was just like a synthesis to it all before they left my application.
Yeah, I agree with Timmy. Like the personal statement, I wanted it to like end off in a bang and like really make them remember me as like, oh, that was the girl who, you know. I kind of talked about what it like means to be American for me, and like kind of like a dual identity of where when I'm in America, I'm seen as Indian, and when I'm in India, I'm seen as American. I talked about how finding my identity impacted me like throughout, you know, like my middle school journey, and like even now how my perspective has changed, and how like youth need to embrace their own identities more. But yeah.
Good.
I think low-key overall ours was really similar in the sense that we were both trying to like find ourselves.
Actually, the nonprofit that we ended up working at, because we worked at the same nonprofit, the person who read our applications from there noticed that we both kind of had themes of advocacy and like reclaiming identity and things like that.
Yeah.
And I feel like you're definitely not confined to those themes, but advocacy in general is obviously a really compelling part of a successful Bank of America student leader, because like we want to serve our community and make a difference. Just as like some lasting overall tips, I feel like in general, something that really helped me is trying to view my application not as 12 components, but like a holistic kind of sense of who I am. I know that word is thrown around a lot, but what I actually did is I wrote in like a notebook one sentence to describe every essay, and then tried to put it all together and see like, okay, after reading this, what does this say about me? Like, what is the so what? I feel like it's so easy to get lost in every single prompt and be like, okay, what's the perfect answer to this? But you have to understand that someone is reading through this entire application to see who they are. So you want to make sure that throughout it, you're having a common sense of passion, but also being able to show different parts about yourself.
I always say this to myself before like any interview, any essay, any like academic or like extracurricular related thing. I'm doing it for the people I'm serving. I'm not doing it as like a college student who wants to put it on their application or like to get some stats across. Like I really wanted to show like that sense of like not like asking what my community wanted instead of just assuming what they wanted.
now we're just going to move on to a quick section that describes a bit of our experience at the program, specifically the summit. Also, shameless plug, if you want to see a vlog of the summit, you should definitely check out my YouTube channel.
I'll link it in the description box.
And that will help you get a good sense of what the summit was actually like. And I remember we both watched like other summit vlogs while writing our application, which is why I wanted to make a vlog as well.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it's funny. You should watch it. But
yeah, he needs to give me some editing tips, because one thing I love about this program is I've met like people with crazy like random skills and stuff.
Sure,
and this dude has like a random skill in video editing. Like he is so good at video editing. I'll also link our LinkedIns down below.
Oh yeah.
So connect with us. Guys, they're funny too, I promise.
Yes.
I promise.
We've honestly been pretty serious this video, which is like, if you want to see our goofy side, you should definitely check out my vlog.
Yeah, definitely.
Our goofy side. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, what I was gonna say was one of the best parts of the summit is the people that I met. And I just remember like every single time I met someone, first of all, I was in awe about how nice they were. Like I felt so welcome there.
Yeah.
But then also everyone had a story that was inspiring, and everyone had a strong, fervent passion for something. We obviously weren't all passionate about the same thing.
Yeah.
But we were definitely united in that passion and in that drive. I remember like they asked us at the start for everyone to raise their hand if they had a nonprofit, and like over half the room raised their hand. Yes. Like there's just like everyone was so passionate for making change, and I feel like that's what brought us together. So definitely try to bring that part of yourself out in your application. Show that there's something that you care about and you are going to take action and already have taken action to address it.
Yeah. I think another like really important part of the summit for me was the speakers. Guys, we had incredible like panelists. We were doing things literally from 7 a.m. to like 11 p.m. maybe.
Yeah, and we met Chris Evans.
We literally met Chris Evans. I'm sure they get like crazy important cool people like at every single summit. 3, 2, 1. Okay, no.
That's why we got into the program.
Yes. By the time you guys are watching this, it's gonna be like long after the movie's over, and you're gonna be like, what? I'm just muting this at this point.
Okay, you want to continue?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So for the final part, we're just going to talk about overall lessons learned or how we've changed thanks to the program, and maybe this can help inspire, a Why Make of America essay for you.
I think this program taught me like how to effectively communicate better with people. There's just a lot of different kinds of people that you need to interact with like on a everyday basis, like whether it's in a job or it's at a networking lunch, or if it's at like school and you're talking to your friend. Just like you need to be able to switch your like demeanor.
I think I had a very similar takeaway. Like I feel like going into the program, I was honestly like a little bit reserved, or like not quiet, but like, not totally out there either. But this program, and especially engineering, really helped me open up. I learned how to network a lot. We went to a lot of different networking events, and our job also entailed like working with all kinds of different people and being able to engage in discussion, being able to talk with like supervisors, also with peers and things like that. And by the time we got to the summit at the end of the program, I was really proud of how I was able to like interact with so many people, ask questions to all the speakers and things like that. And I really felt like a student leader, being able to use my voice to advocate, ask questions, make a difference. So
yeah, I honestly think the best part of this program is going to sound cheesy, but it's being friends with Timmy. Because
I'm just kidding.
Okay, we carpooled.
Honestly, guys,
we carpooled together every single day of like to work, and we live really close to each other.
They were like, the people that we meet through this program are going to become lifelong connections, and I definitely see that the most with Engineer for sure. Like we've gone so tight. She's a huge part of my life now. It feels like I've known her forever, even though I've only known her for like 6 months. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
I know. There's like certain people that you can kind of just click with, and Timmy was just one of those people. But even our other student leaders, like from the other markets, we still like talk to them.
Shout out to Phoebe, Elizabeth, Abby, and Nancy on Team Nancy, because we love you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But another thing I really recommend you guys do like after the program is just stay like connected. And we've I don't know if it's all markets, but for us, we've gotten incredible opportunities to still get invited to like networking dinners and what else, like a lot of
things. Like random random cool events where we get to connect with
Bank of
leaders
America.
throughout, like through Bank of America. Like this program and its impact has extended far beyond what I could have ever imagined.
Yeah.
If you're contemplating applying,
Apply.
It literally does not hurt.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We had a great time filming. Let us know if you have any questions.
Yes, down below in the comments. And please subscribe to both of our YouTube channels.
Yeah, Timmy has been posting for a while, so you might want to
And stay tuned for amazing content on Anjani's channel.
Yes, I will be doing a college decision reactions video soon. Are you doing one too?
I am also doing one, yeah. So stay tuned for that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully it's a good one.
Yeah, I think we're done.
I think we're done. Okay.
Bye.
Thanks for watching. Bye.